I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I can ask the board that we can move and do item 3 of new business first. I need a motion to allow John to take notes for this meeting.
I make a motion to allow John to take notes for this special meeting of April 23rd, 2022.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Since there is none, vote.
You want to call it roll call?
Roll call vote.
Mm-hmm. For the,
Okay, so I would call on myself first.
You probably would want to abstain.
Of course, yeah. So John, abstain. Carolyn,
aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Rod.
Aye. Now we can start back up with 2 on the agenda.
Roll call. John, here. Carolyn,
Here.
Tom,
Here.
Bob,
Here.
Rod.
Here. At this time, number 4, we place on file a resignation of Patty Gurney, formerly town clerk. All board members have a written copy. Here it is, the written copy for the person taking notes at this time, so they can be put into the minutes. And at this time, we're moving on to item number 5 under new business, and placing on file the resignation of Steve Katona, former town treasurer. Each of the board members also has a written copy, and here's the copy for the minutes. Item number 6 is discuss possible vote on qualified individuals and length of time to fill vacancy in the town clerk position.
I make a motion to discuss possible vote on qualified individuals and length of time to fill vacant clerk position, town clerk position.
I'll second.
To have a motion and a second to place on, to discuss and possible vote on qualified individuals' length of time to fill vacancy in the town clerk position. Is there any discussion?
Do we have a list right now, do you know? Anybody?
I know nothing right now. This is why this is the way I printed this off.
Okay.
I don't know if we want to come up with actual a job description and all of that type of stuff, but I need to put something on the agenda so that we can discuss it in open meeting. That's the
This will
purpose
be
behind
for
this.
an interim initially?
There is, talking with the lawyer, there is no such thing as an interim clerk.
Oh,
They're either a clerk or they're not a clerk. But what a lot of municipalities will do is, because you have to have, you need a clerk almost at all times, and you need to replace the person shortly. They put a short term on the clerk that you appoint, so that you can run ads if you want to and do things like that, come up with a better job description, all of that type of stuff. But you have a clerk in place so that things can move on, because as of right now, we have no one answering the phones, no one looking at the emails, nothing. All that is happening right now is I'm taking the mail out of the mailbox and placing it in the office underneath the door. So we have nothing as of right now. We also have, just for the information of the board, we have payroll coming up on Thursday, and right now we do not, I believe, Bob, you did not get on the sign card, right? So we do not even have enough people to sign checks right now. So Thursday, if we do not move and get things done within the next week here, we will not be able to make payroll.
if that comes to be, can the county send somebody over so that we can make payroll?
I have not asked that question yet. I feel that we've got many days between now and then to get something in place.
Okay.
So what's the first thing you're gonna do? You're gonna,
Do we want, I guess the thing is, do we want to discuss a qualifications for an individual or something that we're looking at so that we can move forward and have another meeting? Or, I mean, this is somewhat up to, this is the whole board's decision, it's not the town chair's decision. I feel that this board in the past has wanted more information, so we have a little bit of time to gather information, but I need to know what to gather, and also to realize that without being able to be in the clerk's office, or anyone to go into the clerk's office, because that was the wishes at the last meeting, that no one goes in there until we have a clerk, a lot of our information is locked up. There's no way to find out what our actual salary was, nothing. There's no way to find out the last job description of the last person, nothing.
well, didn't she tell you that she did not have a contract? Or did she?
She did not discuss that with me. She just told me she was always looking for it.
I talked to her about that a couple times, and she said her job description were in the books, which were the 6 books, I believe, sitting on for the state
Oh, in the
statutes.
state statutes?
Yes.
That's what I think that,
And
yeah.
that's what she said, and believe it or not, I mean, that's pretty much where it is. You know,
Mhm.
I don't think she ever had anything specifically written out that we ever talked about. She didn't know of anything that she had specifically written out, so she always went by the state statutes. That's my job description.
Okay.
I do believe that whatever person comes in has to have some sort of experience at this job. I don't know, I don't know what that's gonna be, but that job is a tough job. I'm sorry, it is. And the amount of stuff you have to know is tremendous. And I just don't think that bringing somebody in that has no experience is good. Now, I don't know if we're ever gonna find anybody to come in and do that without the experience, I don't know, but I think this person should have experience anyway in being a clerk. Just my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't even know what that experience should be, I just don't, but.
I think having prior clerking experience, I mean, hopefully we can find somebody with town clerk experience, and then, you know, if we just put a limit of like 3 months, I feel like that would be a significant mandate, that's a quarter of the year.
Mhm.
I also think that we should, the town should develop a job description for both of those positions if they don't have one. Just because I'm sure that the statutes don't say anything about preserving the pavilion. So, you know, then the person could just say, that's not in my job duties because it's not in the Wisconsin state statutes. So I think that, you know, we can incorporate, we can cite all of the Wisconsin state statutes as obvious job duties and then come up with other ones like whatever, getting mail and stuff.
For town specific.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We probably should talk to somebody at the county to see what they have. There may be something that's ready to, drafted up on descriptions for town clerks that the
Yeah.
county might already have, that other townships have used. And they may have a list of potential people that might be capable as well, so I don't know who at the county would contact.
So if we can find someone that would come in, for a short period of time or whatever, I think that we would, I did have an individual call me and say, but she would want to go into closed session for the clerk position, with the board, and go over her concerns after all that's gone through here. So, I mean,
So is
I,
this Was this to help us out for short
Yes,
term?
yes, yes, for short term. So, and if you don't, I don't know, but if you put maybe just, like he said, maybe 3 months on it and then go see how it works, that might work. But we'd still have to go into closed session to see what her concerns are and what she would, you know, outline what she wants. Or would like. Number one, she told me the thing at the top of the, list is to be treated as a professional. And I don't think that's asking too much for anybody.
I agree.
So, I mean, it would be going over, you know, office hours, whether, you know, all that kind of stuff, the salary, and I mean, that's what we're gonna have to come up with, and so I don't know how you're gonna do that ahead of time without going through what her expectations would be.
Well, I think we have to come up with our list, and that's what we present.
Yeah,
And, I mean, she's either gonna fit in or she isn't going to fit in, really.
Right,
I mean, is what it
yes.
comes down to.
yeah, so,
And, I mean, we have to put our list together, I believe. I don't think should dictate to the township.
no, that's not what she's saying.
No, I get it, but,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
we have to come up with our list.
yeah. Well, we're gonna have to do it quickly,
Yes, I agree.
Carolyn, does this person have prior clerk experience
yes.
with the town? With any town?
With, she has experience, yes. So, well, so then, do we want to make out a list here right now? And so, because then if you're gonna have that before you go into a session, to get somebody on board quickly, you need to have it right now.
My only question to the board right now will be, with the way that I unfortunately had worded the item here, are we allowed to talk about that? I mean, more than what we have, are we able to actually make the list now, or will we have to do that, say, Monday? We have
You
another meeting.
put discuss and possible vote on a
Okay.
qualified, so what you're doing is setting up the guidelines to get to that person.
Okay.
That would be my,
Yeah, I would say
My
we
feeling.
would be discussing the definition of qualified.
well, it means that you have clerk experience. And I think we've always done that in the past, tried to, didn't always work that way, but anyway, so,
So one thing out of the qualifications, then would be experience as a town clerk.
I
yes.
think so. I wouldn't imagine that those sort of statutes change that often.
Actually, they do, but
I
Well,
don't-
then they're qualified to review the statutes and figure out what they need to do, I would think.
Well, if they're a clerk, this is a clerk already, they already know that, he or she, so. This is, what are the hours required? What was the last one? Is it a
officially,
24-hour, 30-hour position, what?
It was 32 or 36.
That's full-time.
I never
You're
seen
talking
it.
full-time if
It
you
was 32 or
36.
36. No, less than 32. It was one of those. I don't know exactly. But
Okay,
it was part-time.
part-time position, so up to whatever the last, top of the list is, huh? What about salary?
That's also stated out there. It's 34 or something, I believe.
If you look at what the report that came out in the annual meeting, or not at the annual meeting, and in the newsletter, you look at what that salary was. It has the clerk salary in there, I think,
It does. It's actually
but I don't know what that's.
It was 35,947. So 36,000 divided by, if the person's working 32 hours a week, that comes out to $21.63 per hour.
You said 32?
32 hours,
Comes out to what?
$21.63. So if Patty was making $21.63 an hour, she had been in her position since August 2019. I'd rather see a temporary or replacement clerk with a defined length of time making less than that, so like $20 an hour.
You may run into that person say, well, I have the experience.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's all a negotiation when you're
Yes.
trying to get a wage. I think that should be the starting point, in my opinion.
Okay?
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Okay,
I guess I disagree with that. I do.
I think she should.
I think it should be the full amount. I do.
Mhm.
We want a clerk that's gonna come in here and do a good job. We shouldn't be playing with wages. It should be full amount, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We offer what we can. I mean, put all the cards on the table. We need somebody in here with experience to help out. We can't be playing $1.50 money game with it. I think we just offer what we can. Get somebody in here with that experience, and this is what we can give you. We can't go any higher than this. This is what we can give you. Is our set of 10 things gonna fit with what you want? And, I mean, that's my feeling on it.
I don't have a problem going up to that, I mean, the difference is negligible, it's
Right.
over $1,600 a year, I guess.
Yeah.
On an annual basis, and, if we're only doing it for a quarter, that's $400.
And I feel the same with the full-time person. If we get anybody to come in to apply for this, that we offer that amount. Give it to them right off the top. This is what we can give you. This is what we're offering. Can you abide by these steps that we have basically put in place along with the statutes for this position? And I mean, should be that simple. Yes, I can. No, I can't. Thank you very much for your time. I don't think we should go back and forth and try to negotiate stuff like that. We need somebody in here that has some experience and they do a job. They do a job.
So is there anything else on the list? Because I think you're gonna,
I have
we should vote it
my-
as a block.
My number one thing is how many hours or hours, days, half days, I think we should find that this clerk should be at the office. Not only to make it easier for the townspeople to come in and make contact, but for us as board members to make contact, so we know those hours.
I found something online here, Town of Sun Prairie, town clerk duties and responsibilities. I'll just read this. Job summary, self-directed, appointed position, perform as clerk of town meetings, administers all elections within the town, maintains all official records and proceedings of the board, maintains financial records of the town, prepares annual financial reports, assessment and tax roll work, file reports with the county and the state agency, issue operator license and other permits, perform related work required by Wisconsin statutes. Position is 32 or 40 hours per week with regular office hours at the town hall. Then it gets into a laundry list of principal duties and responsibilities, election administration, administer board business, and there's subcategories of this stuff. Maintain town financial records, and there's like 7 sub lines under that. Town budget preparation, a couple lines under that. Assessment and tax roll administration, records management, licensing, highway related responsibilities, and there's 5 subcategories there. And then miscellaneous, so complete numerous fiscal surveys, respond to inquiries from the general public, and work with people to facilitate requesting zoning change and land division, provide copy of assessment and tax bills, maintain maps of school district boundaries, draft resolutions and ordinances as necessary, perform such duties as requested by the town board, yada, yada, yada. It goes on, there's 18 lines here. And this has got a subtitle of 2018 appointed clerk job description.
So I'm guessing those are the ones that are all covered in the state statute.
Yes.
They list the state
Yeah.
statutes on here, so it's got state statute 6033,
Right.
subparagraph 4, 6033, subparagraph 1.
Yeah.
So each one of these subcategories has the state statutes listed on. So we could clone this.
Correct.
So is there, other than the state statutes, anything else on the list here that needs to be,
I do. I want to get
as,
how many hours
Hours.
this person should be
okay,
here in the office.
okay,
Between that and, honestly, the number one complaint I had was phone calls. So,
returned, yeah,
well,
yeah.
whatever it is, we have to figure it out. So, those are the 2 next priorities on my list. Is we need to have somebody in the office so that the townspeople, more than us, can get to this person, and then the phone calls. We have to be able to call those people back.
Brad, there's a question.
Yes.
I believe that 32 hours is what they expected the clerk to work, and they wanted them in the office 8 hours a week, which I always felt was not near enough. That they should be behind that desk a little more often. And I know with the phone calls, they did have a lot of problems with the phone for a while, and I don't know, is it a recent thing again where she isn't returning calls, or?
You know, I hear it, and I don't know if it's false or true. I don't. I've never gone in and asked her to listen to the phone messages. I took Patty at her word. Unfortunately, this township has just sometimes it's not, people try to spread stuff and try to make problems, and it's like, and I never knew if that was true or not. So I'm just saying, over the last year, this is one issue that came to me a lot, is we're just not getting back to people, and we have to do that.
But as she pointed out here the other night, when that guy claimed he didn't get back to her, check your spam.
Well, and he did say.
Which happens a
Yeah,
lot.
absolutely. And
Yeah,
I've gotten
but
stuff.
yet these people don't check it,
Mhm.
and, well, you never got back to me. Well, because it went to spam.
Yeah, in the email, he did say that. He come out and did say he did get it, it wasn't spam. But he also mentioned that he didn't get calls back, and he tried the calls first. Sounded like 2 phone calls, and he didn't get back, and he sent an email. And she did get back on email. And Patty said straight out, she didn't know what happened with the phone calls. She wasn't sure. So,
And
but that's what happens. You're absolutely right. So, I don't know, but I think if we're in the office more, you have more time to either answer that phone when it rings or get back to that person that is calling. I personally feel that.
I do too. I
Yeah,
always felt they should be up there more.
I agree.
But getting back to Carolyn's remark before about they want to be treated with respect, but the citizens want to be treated with respect too.
Exactly.
Because we've had problems with clerks that
Yeah,
treat
goes
you
both
like,
ways.
treat you like
Yes.
crap.
Yes, it does.
I agree. Goes both ways, yes. Yep.
And that salary was set, I believe, a few years ago, due to something about the number of people in the township or whatever, that they had to be paid that much,
It was a recommendation.
which, you know, I never could find anything
That never passed.
to really see if that was the truth. But I don't think what they're paying for what a clerk has to know and do, I don't think that salary is out of line really.
I think if we.
I mean,
offer
especially
that
when, you know, $15 an hour in some of these jobs now that people are getting, I mean, $21 an hour, you know, I don't think that's that far, you know, out of line then.
I think it's gonna be hard pressed to get somebody in here at 32 hours for $21.63 an hour. I do, I personally feel that.
Yeah.
That's why I feel it's important to offer them what we can offer them. I do. I do.
How much?
Is there anything else on the
It comes
list?
down to 32 hours at that amount came down to $21.63 an hour, is what it came down to, per hour. So hours at the office, and I think, and we have to cover at least one night a week until 5:30, so people getting done with work can get out here if they have to. I feel strong about that.
That's a good idea.
The other times can be morning or afternoon, but one day a week, we have to make it so that whoever it is at that office until 5:30, so that people have time to come out if they have to, whether it's dog tags or, you know, whatever, so that they can make contact with that clerk. I think that is so important, that the townspeople have the ability to make contact with that clerk.
Now, you know that most towns that around us do not have office hours, the clerks. They do not. They're not, and they're not absolutely required to do that. But what they do set up, if there's something that, you know, for instance, like when it's an election and what have you, you make appointments and they go in. Whenever you want to set up an appointment, then they will go in. So, I mean, you could be a little flexible on, you know, some of the times, because they will go. I know that there's many of them, you just call them and make an appointment and go in,
Right.
you know, and that works. But you gotta be able to get to them, and if you can't leave a message, if you can't leave a message, then you're sunk, so.
I myself prefer to have a set time when I'm gonna be there,
Yeah,
because it would be harder, I feel, for a clerk to get a phone call and say, 5:30 at night, when you got stuff going
Yeah.
on and you're part-time, I have to go meet you now.
yeah,
You know, so if I have office hours Monday and Tuesday from 8 until noon, and then Wednesday from 1 until 5:30, we know that we can fit usually that schedule in there, that they can be there to meet them. And I get it, they may have to take a couple of those and go meet them,
sure.
but
Just
For
be
the majority
flexible
of
a
it.
little bit, yes.
for the majority of it, if we get basic hours, if they're at the office, I think it's gonna help the township, the people of the township.
Have they been posting the clerk's hours? I know a few years back, they always had a calendar on the door with what hours for that month that they were gonna be in there. I don't, you know, since I got off the board, I
No,
don't get up there at the,
no, and it's not a, it wasn't anything in a schedule that Patty would come in. Patty and I had originally set up a Thursday afternoon for me to come in and meet with her, and it was hard for her to meet that sometimes. Whether it's her other part-time jobs, which is her business, whether it's town-related stuff, that she was going to meetings, I know she had some family issues that she was helping out with. So there's a lot of stuff that interfered with that Thursday just because of her life. I mean, she's part-time, okay? She was part-time. So for her to hit that was hard sometimes. That's why, but she had open hours. She could be there when she wanted to. Okay, so I think we have to set when this person has to be there. So, and if they can't, they can't. They call in, they let us know, put a note on the door, sorry I can't be here today, I will be back tomorrow at this time. But we need to do this. We need set hours so that people know how to get a hold of our clerk.
One of the other things that we have too that looms out there is the pavilion rental.
Yes.
I mean, maybe we're handling it correctly by having the clerk do it, maybe we're not, I don't know. I don't know if there's software out there to help us. But I've already fielded a couple of calls on people wanting to request the pavilion, and it's tied up in the computers or wherever in that office, so I can't even tell people, yeah, you can have the date, and I can write it down on a schedule. But that'd be something that, I mean, if this group wants the clerk to maintain that, and I mean, most of the time, all information does go through the clerk, so it is a very time-consuming position, even hours in, hours out, because I mean,
Or-
if the clerk from Marathon County has a question and calls her, I mean, she's at home or whatever, they're not gonna probably look at our hours when to call her.
Yeah. Or the grounds person could help with that. Or
Yeah,
oversee it, and then the clerk can help with that, one of the two.
well, the clerk is gonna, would be the person to get, I mean, you'd have to go through them to do for the money part of it. You know, you've got to work through the treasurer, however it's been set up, but, they're usually the ones. If the clerk has been, sure, I think you're correct. Whoever has buildings and grounds should do it.
I
Be
think
able
that-
to take the reservation, make them.
Yeah, they should be like the secondary, like the backup. I think that the clerk should be the main person to handle the reservations for the pavilion.
So now we have this kind of as our format, so where do we go from here now? We have to set up a meeting, a closed session with the people that have, I think there's 3 people I've called. So,
Do we have to vote on these? And put them in
I would think that we should.
category?
Yeah.
Good question on here.
So my question is, what if there's people who haven't reached out who might be interested because they don't know that our
Exactly.
clerk left?
yeah, so this
So-
would be for just initially to get someone, and then we need to put an ad out.
But what if somebody who's initially interested in temporary doesn't know about it because the clerk's gone?
Well, you've got to put an ad out.
Yeah.
Right, but
That's
you can't just have a closed session with the 3 people who have contacted you, right? You have to make it clear.
Well, I think what Nicole's getting at, I think that we can do something with this, if we figure out next week,
Yeah,
when we wanna do a
Right.
interview process, if you will. If we are going to do that, I mean, tonight or as soon as we can, we need to get our list of things out there, the money out there the best that we can of what we're gonna offer. And, I mean, we obviously, the paper probably won't make it in time for when we need to do this, but we can at least get it out on our webpage, get it out on our Facebook accounts.
So I emailed that job description for the town of Sun Prairie for the clerk, and I think looking at that, everything we've talked about is in that, and it's got the statutes referenced. So I think that gives us a good baseline of what the person that might be interested would need to know that they're gonna be having to do, whether it's for the 3-month period, and whether they're interested in the long term, they may be in that too.
Right.
Well,
So
what
I
she's
think we
getting
should
at
take that and use it.
I think what she's getting at is if like people in the audience know somebody that might be interested, can they tell them to say, hey, you know.
But I think it's
contact-
more, it's
Absolutely.
outside of what's here.
Yeah.
What we're saying is we need to be open to anybody.
We need to be an
Yes, right.
equal opportunity employer.
yeah.
That's where I'm
but
going.
I think that we're in an emergency situation now where we need to get somebody in place for,
We
that's why,
are, but
that's
I
why
don't
we're
think,
putting.
we are, but I don't think we should circumvent the publication of an immediate need for an interim clerk and give it a 5-day, maybe a week or something to apply to the town. Sure.
Unfortunately, we
We
don't have
need-
that. We don't have a week, we don't have 5 days to get it in the paper, because we're not talking, we're doing nothing this next week then, and maybe the following week after that. You've already missed payroll, you've already probably started to miss bills that need to be paid.
What about, there's all these quarterly things that, you know, your 941s, I think that's due now. That
And on
needs
the-
to go in by
And
the
on
end of the month.
30th On the 30th, I believe that, not ARPA grant.
ARPA, you
Yeah,
have
ARPA
to
grant.
have your report in
That
so you don't
nowhere
get
has
your
to be
money.
in.
So let's do this then, let's just take this job description, get it on the website, and have anybody that's interested show up and pick a day next week, and we're gonna interview potential short-term interim candidates, and at least we put it out there that anyone else who might be interested could come here and apply.
And by word of mouth for anybody
Yeah.
that reads it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, so we
these are
put
big things.
we put a time limit on when people have to get back to the township to apply, so that we can take care of payroll within a 30, I don't know if that's not even possible. Because that person's gotta get on the bank, signature thing too.
Well, I mean, that's another item here, but, I mean, we could get a couple of board members' signatures, which would take care of the signature portion, but still by Thursday, you'd have to have somebody, a clerk sworn in, and a treasurer sworn in, so that you can move forward with cutting checks.
Well, didn't we initially say just to try and, you could put the ad out, it would be just as a 2-month or 3-month thing? Or some way you can do it, so you can do it quickly?
You mean on our website and stuff? And
Yes.
post it on our 3 posting places? I
Yes,
mean,
yes.
I think that's, for the short term, that's the best we can do, trying to put it in the newspaper, and it takes them like 2 days to get it in there, and then you gotta give them time to respond. I mean, we don't have that time for this short-term position. I mean, for the long-term one, yes, but we don't have it for the short-term one. And if Nicole has someone, or, I mean, maybe she does, maybe she doesn't, but if she does have someone, that gives her that gives that individual another opportunity, because I don't really wanna limit anybody out, it just as we have to move on.
Right.
I mean,
Yes.
So wouldn't you just utilize the county for this first week so that everything can get posted appropriately? Just for the payroll piece of it, if that's the
I
big
don't know
concern.
that process, you know, I don't
Who
know
at
that.
the county do you use? I don't know.
I would contact Kurt Gibbs,
Clerk,
or the clerk, yeah.
Kim Trueblood.
Say, hey, we're in a pickle, we just need some help for this week, we're in the process of doing this. That way everybody gets paid, nobody's concerned about missing their checks, we're doing the right process going forward.
Will the county clerk come in like temporary clerk for us?
They advised one other time they sent one.
Yeah.
Either the county clerk or another clerk
Somebody she
from
Yeah.
knows.
another township or town to help out. I've heard of that.
And ideally, maybe they'd help the person who comes in to get them, you know, this is due on this date, you know, because they're coming in the middle of a quarter. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yes.
so maybe that is the best approach.
I can call on Monday.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in contact with her on different issues. I mean, her other big issue too is if we get someone in place, that person almost needs to still be in place in August if they have voter credentials, you know, through the clerk's process of all of their training and stuff, because there's an election in August, and that's, right now on her plate, that's her biggest
Oh, sure.
thing for us.
Well, I think she's only talking, get a temporary clerk from the county for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So that we can,
I understand that,
Okay.
but we have to look at our, kind of our deadline, and as we're moving through this too, all I'm saying is I did contact the clerk, the county clerk, and I got some of her voice things, and that was her major thing, was she doesn't care about our payroll, but I will call her and ask her if she can assist us with that type of stuff also.
I imagine a county clerk will cost us more, we'll have to pay this person, right?
Well, yeah, I don't believe that would do
Right
it.
now, that really don't matter. We just need to take care of payroll
Correct.
next week. If we
Right.
can take care of payroll next week, we're not under the gun to get somebody in a hurry. I think we need to take the time, get the job description put together, get it posted, and to Nicole's point, we need to be open about applicants. And then we go through and we get somebody selected for a 3-month short term. And if it needs to go through August, maybe it needs to be 4, but I would think 3 would be enough for us to then post it more prevalently and then come up with a long-term clerk. And maybe the interim one is the long-term one, who knows? We don't know those answers yet, there's
No.
too many unknowns.
Exactly.
We got the treasurer to do it too.
I agree. So I think the thing in my notes that we don't have hammered out is days, how many days they're in the office and like
Hours of it.
portions of the
Well,
day.
that can be negotiated at a different time, it's just that that needs to be part of the,
Being a part-time
part of
position, I think
the,
we're gonna have
part-time
to.
position, and then, because, you know, sometimes these people have other jobs, and,
Tuesdays would work for them, but the Wednesday wouldn't work, or
yeah,
whatever.
exactly,
So,
yeah,
well,
so
I don't
I
think
think
I would like to
that
put
needs to
on-
be
I would
negotiable.
like to put on there, that can be negotiated, but I would like to see half those hours in the office.
I agree. I think having some of the best times you work.
And split it up, whatever works,
Yeah.
whatever's.
Mhm, okay.
You got suggestions, Georgia? Comments?
Okay, so,
What, you talking to me?
Yeah, do you have any suggestions?
I do, I've got a lot of them, but they might be inappropriate, and then we'd have to have the SWAT squad here again. No, I don't. Thanks for asking, Bob.
okay. So now we need to know what we need to, somebody needs to make the motion,
Emotions.
so, go ahead, Tom.
You basically amend
Yeah, I'm gonna have to amend my motion. I'd like to amend it to these 5 items to be under the qualified individuals, job qualifications. How am I gonna put this?
Did you want, were you gonna include the,
State statutes.
or that, or, whichever community you pick up out there, that you found?
I'd like to amend my motion for number 6, discuss the possible vote of qualified individuals, the length of time to fill vacant town clerk, to include the state statutes for qualified individual, understanding of the state statutes, and to have in there the 5 points at which our board would like to see to fit into that qualification for the job.
Can you repeat the 5?
Yes. The clerk has experience,
Qualifications.
it's a part-time position, 32 hours / 21.63 per hour. Number 3 would be half of the hours to be served in office, on site. Number 4 would be phone calls to be answered and/or messages to be returned.
So let me read the miscellaneous on this Thomas Humphrey. I think you're gonna like this, because it's all on here. The only thing it doesn't have is the hours in the office. But it's got respond to inquiries from the general public with people to facilitate requesting zoning, change, land division, property taxes, maintain map of school district, that was there. Perform such duties as requested by the town board, listen to complaints from the townspeople as they arise and assist in resolving them and refer to proper channels, sort mail, date, check correspondence, directed to town, call chairman and advise matters requiring attention, take care of responsibilities, or take care of correspondence directed to the clerk and treasurer, type correspondence and reports as needed, file correspondence and board meeting materials, provide verbal and paper copies of open records information to people, agencies requested, develop town's newsletter, have printed and mailed on a quarterly basis, file and maintain clerk office records, attend workshop seminars, investigate other means of financing available to municipality, prepare and mail invoices to those purchasing services or equipment for town, publish, lead notice, furnish complete summary of the town indebtedness to the county and state, complete duties as added by the town board, state or other agencies as directed by the town board, maintain resident list, dog licensing, listing, and file recycling reports to the state. That's all under miscellaneous.
Okay.
That's on page 4, and I emailed it to John
Okay.
and Rod.
Okay.
I'm gonna finish 5. Pavilion rental split between clerk and buildings and grounds supervisor.
I believe in our community though, the dog licenses are handled by our treasurer,
Yeah,
They are.
yeah.
so that could be
We can change that.
great.
Yeah.
This is something to start from.
Oh, yes,
So
so
then
definitely.
to scratch what we don't think is applicable to us.
Where is that actually at? I should
I
probably,
emailed it. What's your email?
but
I can email it to
I'm
you.
just thinking I should put this in what I'm saying here.
It's the town clerk duties and responsibilities as published by the town of Sun Prairie, 2018.
Maintaining the maps too, that is, I mean, I know that we kind of poo-pooed it a little, but that really is a poo-poo because when it comes to election time, having a proper map up on the wall is crucial, because that's how people know where to vote and what section they're supposed to be voting in. I know there's other catches, but it helps them out. I know that does need to be kept up, it is a thing.
And then other duties to correspond with the town clerk duties and responsibilities of Sun Prairie, 2018 article.
Yeah, town of Sun Prairie.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Do you need, oh, sorry. Do you need to
Yeah.
call out that it doesn't matter if you live in the township of McMillan or not? Because I know that question has come to me many of times.
Okay.
Because I said, since it's appointed, doesn't matter. That's only for the board.
Well, Patty wasn't a town resident of the
She
township,
lived
was
in
she?
McMillan,
She did?
yeah.
Oh.
So I don't know if you want to clarify that, because I don't know if that'll limit your pool or not.
Patty lives in town?
Patty was
She's
town
town
day.
I thought.
Oh, she was in Day? I thought she was in
Yeah.
McMillan.
There's one.
Just outside of the town.
Only
Yeah.
if it's
And I don't know if
elected
there's anything
position.
behind it, when conversations with the county clerk, she said they had to live in the county, but I don't know if that's because, I mean, if that's one of the things that she ties over with her position, or if it's actually ours because it's appointed. I mean, because when I had the conversation with her, I was like, boy, that really limits our pool down, because we
You're
can't
right.
use, I mean, we've only got like probably
Yeah,
105 residents that live in Marshfield that are in Marathon County. So that would have to be something that would be just quickly brushed through.
We've had Wood County clerks before.
What?
We've had Wood County clerks here
Yeah.
before.
I don't know why it would matter.
That I understand, but
I'll
that's what
second
she had
That's not,
put, that's what
that's
she
not
had.
one of
I need
the,
a second, so we can discuss.
Okay,
Second, I'll second the motion.
I have a motion, a second, no discussion.
So is that something we have to check into then, as far as,
No,
I would just do a
appointed
quick-
positions can be in from any.
I would just for the pure sake of covering us, just a quick conversation with Towns Association or somebody and
But I
just,
think to Nicole's point, we need to have that clarified.
here.
in the posting.
Yeah,
It's in the
You need
statutes
that
too.
as a citizen.
Yeah, and a resident of McMillan,
Township.
yeah. Because I think that confuses people,
Yeah.
at least from
So-
what I've heard.
So what we're gonna say is that it need not be a resident of the town.
Yeah,
Elected, I think elected, you know,
Elected
the
have to be
elected,
appointed.
because when
Yes.
they're elected, then it's different.
right, but I don't
So-
think people correlate the two. I mean,
Yeah,
from the people
the
that
general
I've.
public don't,
Right,
Don't know that.
right,
right? So I think that needs to be near the top of the advertisement, that need not be a resident of the town, no.
Okay,
Then there's no question, then, oh, I
Right.
can do that.
yeah,
I might just be on the south side of the township,
right.
I could still do it.
So these are establishing the qualifications for the person that we will interview after we get a temporary clerk from,
No, this is for the temporary.
This is for
or
temporary.
the
For
temporary.
both.
so after we get the temporary clerk from the county, right?
Same one.
This is what will hold the people, the pool to, right? So now, if the county says we don't have anyone, like, then what? Do we have to have another meeting to put somebody in?
yes. And we may even, the individual that, I mean, I don't exactly know, even if the county has someone on their short list that can do it for us, I still believe that the board may have to vote for them to take that on. I mean, because they have to be authorized by the township. Just because they're a clerk or they're cleared by the county to do it, doesn't mean they're cleared to do it here. I mean, that'll be all questions that I will ask her on Monday morning.
And we decided that the length of time was gonna be 3 months.
House We've already said,
I
in case
just
you
leave
want
it
to
open.
include the elections.
4 months?
I thought that's what,
Primaries in
That's what-
August.
Right.
With potential.
It's like 4 would work, I mean. Especially if we're gonna put this much effort into the, I mean, because the lawyer had said, well, you could do like a 1 month to keep things moving and then move into it, but if we're gonna put this much into the prime, or the short-term person, then, I mean, I think we do need to get through August. Because if you run up a month short, and then you get somebody that's qualified to do everything except for elections, now you gotta figure out how you're gonna run elections. Because as she said, you almost, if they don't have any training in elections right now, they have to start now to be able to do August election. There's that much training that's involved. And
Are we establishing a closing period for this advertisement? I mean, is this going into the paper, or am I just posting it on my website? I mean, we can,
I think what we talked about was we would clone this document with Scribe, adding whatever clarifications we needed, and then we'll post it on the town website, on the town hall here, and then the other posting places that we do, Resource Recovery, Bellevue Supper Club.
okay, and then, but like,
And
so,
that'll give us, you know, because we don't have the time for the newspaper, but if we can get somebody from the town to help with the payroll.
yeah, but I mean, like, you know, for like when, I guess, so we'll just take applications until, or interested parties until we set a meeting date for the meeting then.
I think we need to set almost a meeting night. We almost need to figure out a deadline here. Otherwise, we're gonna have to have another meeting to set a deadline.
When's the next regularly scheduled meeting?
Stand motion, and we still discussing?
Yes, we're still discussing it. Do a motion a second, so.
Can you get this on the town website?
I can get it on my town website.
That's not,
I can't get it on townofmcmillan.com. The clerk was updating that.
Didn't she work with somebody in Auburndale?
I don't know.
I thought she worked with somebody that,
Yeah.
I don't know who that somebody was though. Sorry, I didn't raise my hand.
No, that's okay, that's okay.
There, you know, there is a gentleman that they've worked with for years for the official town website.
He actually runs the site.
Right.
Pat, I don't believe that Patty even added stuff, I believe she just gave stuff for
Yeah.
them to put on.
But
And that
who was
was
that
the,
guy?
kind of the problem with it. And she was gonna try to get
He
passwords.
used to
so
run
she could-
TNET.
What'd
He
you say?
owned TNET.
Okay.
Horofsky.
It would be nice to get it on that one. I mean, that is still our official website.
Mhm.
It's the only official website.
Yes.
Well, how are you gonna find out about who that is or how to do it?
What'd you say his name was?
We'll find it.
Velocity, did you say?
Horofsky, John Horofsky. And
Oh,
I'll get you, and I will get you his, if that's the case, I can get you his address. He's contacted me more than once about other issues. He owned TNET, and that's what he does privately now, apparently.
So are we just waiting for a date?
I'm kinda yes.
Okay.
Unless you guys don't want to put a date on it, like I said, if I
Well, I
put a
think-
date on it.
It's gonna have to be before Thursday. So then there's gonna be a couple things, a date, and if somebody comes forward, I mean, we're gonna have all these meetings in one? Meeting after meeting after meeting, or what do you,
I guess my thing out of it is if we can start, I mean, I don't know how many applicants we're gonna get. I don't know if we accept applicants up to a point and then appoint someone here on the board to be able to look at them and then schedule them. And we have a meeting night and just, you know what I mean, give each individual an hour or half hour, depending on how many people we have, and then that'd be the way I would see it, because then we're only, I mean, because if we have different separate meetings, each one of us can charge the township for each meeting $40, which gets pretty pricey, and it's also wasting a lot of our time too, where if we can just,
so in my opinion, it falls on the phone call to the county to see if we're gonna have coverage for the payroll.
okay,
So we will know that Monday morning.
yes.
Okay, so do we have a meeting Monday night
No, you can't.
so that we can,
We do.
We can have a meeting after your meeting though.
It might go long.
Do you have a lot on your agenda? I'm sorry, I was not able to open it up
A few
yet.
controversial things.
Okay,
Don't you need to make a motion for the chair to go to the county
mm-mm.
to request assistance?
No, I don't think so.
Well, we have, first we have a motion and a second
We still got,
table right
and,
now.
and we're talking about the time
Yeah.
to put into that, but in my opinion, we need to find out if the county's gonna help us before we set that time.
So can we make the time contingent on the outcome of the call on Monday? So if the county can supply a clerk, then we have a meeting a week later, and if not, then we have a meeting on Tuesday? Because there's a definite, like, you know, it's a if then, so if one thing happens, then, so there's no ambiguity there.
Right?
And then we don't have to have another meeting to set another meeting date.
Yeah.
so we're the 23rd today, what I'm looking at is in 7 days, our ARPA forms have to be filled out and pushed off.
Mhm.
And I don't believe that the clerks, if we get someone to fill in from the county, if they're gonna wanna do all of that, I mean, maybe we can get them to do it.
If nothing else, they should be able to request an extension.
I don't know. Did we accept, a payment earlier from them?
Yes,
We did.
that's why the report has to
That
go in.
has to be in by the end of April then.
So sooner than later.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. That's, we have to pick a date.
Yep.
Pick a date. Monday's not gonna work. She's gotta be.
Go ahead. I mean,
So we
you
can
know,
go, we can go
We'll
Tuesday.
get ours through at 6.
Tuesday's good with me.
Tuesday's okay with everybody?
I guess, I don't know my calendar.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is all still under your motion, or do you need to
Yes.
re-amend it?
This is gonna be all in my motion.
Because they have to post it.
Tuesday. Should we go 6 on Tuesday?
It doesn't count.
6 o'clock, okay?
Yeah.
6.
6?
Don't forget to post it today.
Don't forget what?
To post
Post
it
Because
today.
tomorrow doesn't count if you post it tomorrow.
All these rules, I tell you.
That's another thing. Okay. Okay.
So that's if the county can't help us, we'll meet on Tuesday, and then if they can help us, then can it wait until our regular meeting on the 9th?
No.
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 No, because you're gonna do interviews, right? I mean,
Yes. We have to meet our deadlines. We have a lot of stuff to meet for our deadlines. So I would have to do it.
Oh, so it's before the 30th regardless.
oh yeah, 'cause
Oh, yeah.
the other thing is we
Absolutely.
have,
Oh, well, then I don't see, I don't see any need to have a contingency meeting, we just set the meeting for Wednesday then. Then we have enough, that's as much time as we can give for the random people to apply. And, you know, if the clerk, the county can help us, then we get some help. But, I mean, if our deadline is the 30th, regardless of whether or not the county is helping us, then, you know, it makes no difference.
That's right.
An extra 24 hours of posting that's not being, I mean, my website gets like
That's
7 people
minimum.
coming to it a day, so like,
Yeah.
it's not gonna get any actual, like, vision from people, so.
Makes sense?
so move it to Wednesday.
Yes.
At 6.
Yes. 6, okay?
The 27th, is that the day?
Yeah.
It's 3 days before all that's gotta be done.
Wow. But even if you interview somebody, they're not gonna be able to start next week.
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in mind. We have no choice but to get help from the county.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I think it's a foregone conclusion that we have to get some help from the county.
Yeah.
However that needs to happen.
Because if people don't have current clerk experience, they're not a current clerk, they probably aren't aware of how to do this corporate filing.
No. And we've got bids that need to get out,
Yes.
because I don't believe that any of that has been, by checking through the News Herald, I don't believe, and I did not call the News Herald to
I
find out
didn't call,
if we did
I've
it.
looked in the paper.
But by looking through it, I don't believe that our bids got out either.
I looked.
So you're giving people 3 days to apply, 25th, well, today, tomorrow, 5 days, I guess technically, right? If people see the posting, is that my understanding? And then on the 27th is when you would interview these people?
Yeah. That's a lot more than most municipalities do for a short-term person,
Yes.
way more, so. Remember, we're just looking for a short-term person, this is not the long-term, the person's
I
looking.
mean, in the past, when these have come up, I don't know, I'm asking a question here. How quickly did the town, how quickly did the board respond to get somebody appointed in place? In the Patty was appointed, what was the duration of time that we were without, that we had to get somebody in? This hasn't happened
weren't.
before, right?
I think, you can get somebody in the next day if you're in an emergency situation, So there are rules for emergencies, so.
In Patty's letter, it says that in August of 2019, after resignation of the clerk, I was appointed to the position on August 19th.
19.
Yeah, so that's almost pretty
Yeah.
quickly. I don't know the timing of that. I mean, would have there been somebody else that might have been qualified that could have been appointed too? Maybe, I don't know.
Well, there could have been, but that, that
mean,
was
are we
the
in any
board
different
chose to
situation?
do it that way, so.
Yeah, and that's what I'm asking the question
Yeah.
right now. Are we in any different situation here?
Yeah.
You know?
I think we have to put the time in and get somebody in here. Yes.
So,
So, let me read the amended motion as I have written down. So the discussing possible vote has been amended. Number 6, discussing possible vote on qualified individuals and length of time to fill vacant town clerk position has been amended to, let's see, vote on qualifications and the length of time to fill the vacant clerk position to include understanding of state statutes, experience, part-time 32 hours per week at a pay rate of $21.63 per hour, 50% of the time in the actual office. Phone calls will be answered and returned if messages are left. The position will handle the pavilion rentals with the buildings and grounds person being the backup. And will also include other duties from town of St. Prairie, Sun Prairie. And town residency is not required. The position will be filled, the length of time will be 4 months. And a meeting will be held in closed session at 6 p.m. for interviews on 4/27.
The only other thing that I could see being there is because we do not want them mailed, or if we want them to be able to be separated off from the normal mail to the township, they need to be like, and this doesn't maybe necessarily have to be in the motion, but we do need to have them attention to the chair or something so that I can pull them out of the mail, so that they don't get put into the office, and permission for me to maintain these unopened until the night of. Or if we want someone on the board to be in charge of them, so that they can open them and call them and tell them to be here.
So in the interim is what you're saying right
Yes.
now, for the next few days, until we get this person on, you want that added into the suggestions?
Yeah, or
Okay.
at least guidance to me,
Yeah,
what the board feels comfortable with.
Would that be a separate motion though?
yeah.
We could make that motion so that you can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I just put them in there and hope that the county can help us with somebody, and then we can move forward that way.
No, I don't think so.
Mhm.
Okay.
We'll call a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. John, aye. Oh, Carolyn,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Bob,
Alright.
Rod.
Aye. Next item on the agenda.
Can I make a motion here? I'd like to make a motion in the interim between now and Wednesday that Rod has the ability to, if Any applications are by mail. Have them CC to Rod, so that Rod can pull these and bring these with Ever, and we have to decide, I guess.
Let's just leave it go in the normal mail. Let's
Just let it go.
Yeah, I'll get somebody from the clerk or whatever, we'll figure something out to get them out.
Okay.
This is gonna be too much, it's not on the agenda and
Okay.
as such, and we'll work through it, I'll work through it with the county.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Yep.
Number 7, discuss and possible vote on qualified individuals, the length of time to fill the vacancy of town treasurer position. Any motions, we can move into discussion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Well, that means that I have to make an amendment. We come up with potential stuff, right? So since there's no, like, election-related stuff, why don't we put this one as a 2-month length of time?
Yeah.
Then we have a nice, short. I'm not quite sure what the town treasurer's responsibilities are other than getting the taxes.
He handles all the money. I mean, bottom line.
He's like the controller for the township.
There isn't any reason for them to be in the office at this point for this amount of time, right? Other than to work to get your financial reports done, correct? I mean, you're not gonna have I suppose if there's a dog license that somebody comes in, then somebody would have to do that, but, I don't know what the,
Deposit any rentals,
deposit them,
anything from the fire station, all has to be deposited.
so,
Reconciliation between the clerk and the treasurer.
I'll get some weekly visit, or bi-weekly, bi-monthly.
Mm-hmm.
I think he came in, obviously he came in on
He was in
days.
weekly, he was in weekly.
Yeah, he was. But whether or not he had to be, I wasn't sure, but I'm guessing if there's constant money coming in, then he has to be there to handle it.
mhm.
I think a weekly visit seems appropriate.
Just, yeah, okay.
Do you think that we need to set the amount of hours they work weekly, or they just?
Do you need what?
Do we set how many hours that we expect them to come and work weekly, or we set
No.
a maximum maybe?
I don't think so. They're gonna come in and do whatever needs to be done,
Yes.
you know, with their reconciliation, do their deposits and so forth. And dog license if somebody needs something, but otherwise, it's not, this is actually a good time of year to do that,
Yeah.
so. And as far as salary, I think whatever the salary was, to do the same.
Yes. We had just voted that maximum salary a couple months back.
Yeah. So,
the newsletter said that the treasurer position made 12,500, something like that last year. So I don't know, but I don't know how many hours that was.
I'd have to go back and,
Yeah.
we had just passed, there was a new calculation that came out for what the treasurer should get, and that was voted on a couple months back.
Okay, good.
And it went through, so we should find out exactly what that was
Okay.
and put that wage in there.
Because there's varies greatly, because in December and January, they're putting in a lot of hours.
Yeah, yeah.
And then right now, they don't have that many hours. I mean,
Yeah, that's why I said it's a good time right now to,
Yeah. So that isn't actually an
So-
hourly, that's more of a position,
Mhm.
monthly paycheck,
mhm.
total divided by month.
But for this 2-month person, I think that we should do it on an hourly basis. Because if the regular one is paid on a monthly basis, if it's just 12,000.
Well, he gets paid every other week.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he gets paid twice a month.
But if the pay rate is determined, if the regular treasurer, their pay rate is essentially a salary, you know, for the full year, so
Mhm.
12,000, let's say for easy math, $12,000 a year, I don't think that they should be earning $1,000 if they're out here just, you know, doing one dog tag and doing one bank reconciliation. Because they're not, the 12,000 is contingent on doing all the taxes and stuff
Right.
during the busy time,
Right.
so I think that
Yeah,
if we pay them whatever, I mean, if we get a clerk in, then they can probably determine how much that person was making on an hourly basis.
I don't think that position's an hourly basis, and I still think whoever comes in to do this is gonna do the township a favor, and we should be giving them a cut of that total pay. I do. Even if they're here to do one dog tag, I think that that person is doing us a favor, coming in for a short time, disrupting their life for us as a township. I think they should be paid that money.
Okay.
We're gonna cut that 12-month, division, whatever it is. But I do believe it, because they're helping us out. I mean,
Yeah,
so.
I don't think there's anything else for the treasurer at this point.
Do you find anything out of Sun Prairie for their treasure down there? I mean, just,
It's pretty cut and dried.
Well, there was a example of a treasure job description. I don't know if the town of Cottage Grove is a city or a township, doesn't really clarify on here. One of the things that I've seen in here is that the position is subject to a background search, so it's something we wanna keep in mind, but this is like a 3-page job description for the town of Cottage Grove. Treasurer job descriptions, so it's pretty detailed. And it references the Wisconsin statute 60.34. There's primary job functions and other duties, general provisions, qualifications, and then normal hours of work and pay. And here they have treasurer office hours from 8:30 to 12:30 Monday through Friday, so that leads me to believe that that might be a city.
Yeah.
So it seems a little more than what a township would normally use. But it does talk to a lot of what Steve was doing, you know, with the handling of the money and depositing it in the town accounts and working with the clerk on accounts payable, updating and maintaining payroll records, doing the W-2s, 1099s, all of the state and federal tax reports and forms and payments. Anything that a normal accountant would be doing in the township. gets into a little more detail because it talks about capital asset reports, which I'm sure we don't do,
No.
so.
So you're gonna put out the ad for the same time you do for the clerk, right?
Yeah.
So we'll do the interviews at the same time also?
Yes, you can.
Same
Yeah.
evening?
Mhm.
Might as well. Okay, so I'll amend my motion to reflect that we identified qualifications, or that the time limit would be 2 months. The treasurer for those 2 months would require a weekly visit and would be paid the same salary as assigned to the prior treasurer. And that interviews for this person would occur on the meeting scheduled for Wednesday, April 27th at 6 p.m. And that any interested party would be scheduled in advance if possible.
I'll second that.
Alright.
Oh, roll call, sorry. Roll call, John, aye. Carolyn,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Bob, Rod.
Aye. Item number 8 is a resolution for the bank accounts. Now, unfortunately, I do not have a resolution copy with me. That is also in the office. So I cannot give you a sample of what the resolution is, which gives us real
Yeah.
sort of issue here.
It has to be read out loud.
Exactly,
All
Yeah.
resolutions have to be read out loud.
exactly. So by not having that, we cannot change the people on the card for signing it at the bank.
Yes.
And that's gonna have to be done for Thursday for opening the account check, even if we get help from the county as the clerk, because they won't be able to sign our checks. We'll have to sign our own. And I believe right now the only ones that are okay, actually okay to sign is Tom and myself.
Okay, so read it.
I don't have it.
Oh, you don't have it?
I don't have access to it. I mean, I don't have, the one that we've used before.
Can you table this for Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay. Make a motion, we table this, resolution for bank accounts until Wednesday.
Second.
I have a motion, a second, to table item 8, resolution for bank accounts until Wednesday. Any further discussion? Since it is done?
Roll call again?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
John, aye. Carolyn,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Bob, Rod.
Aye.
I do have something I think that we should have gone back up to, under the new business, appointment note taker for meeting. That was for this meeting, but I think that we should have extended that motion to, or amend that motion to have John continue to take our minutes and stuff.
I don't think he can,
You gotta
You
do it-
can't,
you
you
gotta
have-
do it
you
meeting
can't
by
do
meeting.
that?
because if Rod can't make that meeting,
Oh,
Rod appointed him, one of us would have to be
Oh, okay.
and appoint somebody.
Okay,
That's
Meeting
what
by
it was
meeting.
explained to me.
all right.
Yeah, so it's a one meeting.
Oh, so every meeting he has to, okay, all right, very good.
Hopefully not much longer. I'm a big fan of taking minutes.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Need a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against, say nay. Ayes have it, meeting adjourned.
Well, this was better than our cartoon.
Running and posting these things. I'm just gonna go back and spring my heart out.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll get this drafted today and send it out. I mean, we have an extra day now. We're back to
We
Wednesday.
do, so, still.
But I think the earlier the better.
Me too. People can see it. Word of mouth, spread it out.
Thank you for coming.
Sure.
Thanks, Rod. Yep.
Have a good rest of the weekend.
Long weekend.
I have no idea.
It's a big freaking button. Yeah, I think we can find that.
Hey, I got a question. Who's the guy that was sitting over here?
Pastor,
What?
the pastor from the church.
Pastor.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, good thing I didn't swear then.